Okay, just a little video here to demonstrate the MoFi Electronics Fender X Precision Deck turntable. I wanted to do a video on this because I was so displeased from the performance that I got from it from the factory and the lack of communication from the factory to try to get service. I bought this from Audio Advice and they have been totally wonderful. I mean, they sent me a new set of audio output cables because the output cables on this were defective from the factory. They helped me get in touch with the manager of distribution to get some platter grease because the platter was bone dry on this when I first got the turntable. The wow and flutter was terrible. It was up to like 0.36 and the speed was far off. The belt is also defective. It has a flat spot on it where it's joined together. And I have a terrible problem with the cueing, which I'll try to demonstrate then. The cueing cylinder, the viscous silicone oil in the damper or the piston is probably not exactly correct. I mean, I'm sure they used the correct viscosity, but there's something wrong with the piston because sometimes it'll drop the tone arm like a rock. Other times it gets stuck. Sometimes it skips off to the right, which I thought was the anti-skating weight, so I removed it and it still did the same thing, so it can't possibly be that. But we'll just do a little bit of a performance test here, and it's not going to be nothing scientific. I am definitely not a videographer or anything. And all I have is a cell phone, so this is going to be done live. If it screws up, or if I screw up, that's what I should say, it's going to be live. So we're going to try to do the speed performance here in wow and flutter. So I'm doing this one-handed with a cell phone. And I'm using the Turntable Speed app on an Android phone, which I believe now is also available for iOS. But very nice app because it calculates wow and it calculates speed deviation as well. So you can see how this is not holding 33.33. It is a little better when you play a record because you do get some stylus drag. Let me see if I can grab this here, and we'll just see what we got. All right, so we got 0.09% wow, and the speed is 33.42 RPM. Sorry for the jitteriness here. I'm doing this one-handed, holding a cell phone in one hand and another Android device in this hand so I can get the comparisons. I'm going to try to, I'll come back to this, but I'm going to try to show you the cueing issues. But I just want to compare this to some other turntables. Here is a Technics SL1100A that my parents bought me in 1975 as a Christmas gift. It's all original, same capacitors and everything, so this thing just performs like a champ. You just won't believe the speed stability you get on this thing. Let me get this going here. I'm going to adjust the pitch control here first of all so I can get the speed stable. There we go. And I'm doing this live, but this will have nice wow numbers as well. So I'll try to watch this here. This is just a regular direct drive turntable. And really, if I would have played with the pitch control here, I could get this exactly on. I could get this 33.33. But beautiful turntable in nice condition, you know, from 1975. My folks bought this at Stereo Discounters for me, so that's how old this is. So we got 33.34, and we got 0.02 wow RMS. Okay? So to be fair, that's a direct drive. I want to compare this, and you have to excuse my room here because I got electronics all over the place trying to make a home for this Fender, which may or may not happen now. But here is a Thorens belt drive turntable that I bought in 1991. I bought this from Sound City in New Jersey. And this has a clutch, so we'll let this stabilize a little bit here. When you put something on the platter, you will get some slippage until it stabilizes in a little bit. And again, I'm doing this live, so just give it a second or two here. All right, we'll see what we get here. Not a scientific way. I don't have a wow and flutter meter, but I'll tell you what, this app is accurate because I've checked this with Quartz direct drive turntables, and it's almost dead on. It really is almost dead on. With the manufacturer's specs, wow and flutter and so forth. This is a Thorens belt drive TD520. I don't know if I can get a shot of the strobe here. That probably won't. Yeah, there you can see the strobe's holding still. But, you know, very nice turntable, 12-inch tone arm. And once again, this gives you some nice numbers as well. Let me try to grab this off of here. So we got 33.32 and a wow of 0.02% weighted RMS. That's just amazing. On a belt drive turntable, you got 0.2% wow. I mean, unbelievable. And one final one we'll compare it to here. This is a Technics SL1300 Mark II, and this one is repaired. This has the arm cueing lever defect fixed. This was the late Joel Thorner's personal turntable. Anybody that knew Joel, he owned the turntablefactory.com. Oops, got my finger in front of the lens there. And let's see what we get here. Oh, let's go here. I do believe my phone gyroscope is a little off here. So let me I'm doing this live, so bear with me. This one has a strobe as well. I don't know if I can get a shot of that. Yeah, you can see that in there. This is a quartz lock turntable as well. And I do believe this phone gyroscope is going a little screwy now. One thing you never want to use is a Samsung phone because they're always off. But we're more interested in the wow anyway, so just to compare here, let me get this started. So it's going through its thing there. It waits about 20 seconds for the platter to stabilize. And this is quartz lock, so it should pretty much be dead nuts on. We got 33.34 with a wow of 0.02. That's fairly nice numbers. So let me go back over here to the Fender turntable. And I want to show you this cueing defect, if I can get it to do it. It's an intermittent thing, so I'm going to turn power off. The stylus guard is on. I don't want to rip the stylus off, especially if I'm sending this back. But I want you to see what this does sometimes when it cues. Out at the outer edge, it works pretty well usually. I'll try to get a close-up shot of this. And you get a nice descent till we touch the platter. The problem I have is when you're about 2/3 of the way through a record and you want to cue up one of the last two bands or something, it sort of drifts out. Oh, there you saw it. It skipped. It went over to the right, it skipped, and then it dropped like a rock. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. There, it did it again. I'll see if we can repeat that one more time. I found this out when I was playing a record the other day, and I was trying to cue a band. It was the third band on a 3-band side record. And I ended up in band 2, and I thought, wow, why is that drifting? I thought it was the anti-skating weight back here. So I took it off, and the same problem existed. So here we go again. Now that time it seems like it's working pretty well. Yeah, we made it down. But sometimes it jumps. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy there. And sometimes it sticks. Sometimes it's stuck and it doesn't fully descend. Just do it a few more times here. It is an intermittent problem. There, it did it. It bounces down like all of a sudden, like it loses the viscous damping, and then it jerks off to the right a little bit. So that is that. Absolutely gorgeous turntable, but the quality is abysmal. And MoFi Electronics is absolutely horrible to deal with in their customer service. They do not answer emails. I've had this since July 5th. I must have emailed them 3 or 4 times. They don't have a communication system set up correctly. So it goes to distribution. The manager of distribution forwards it to the East Coast, where MoFi headquarters are located, and nobody bothers to get back to you. They're just terrible. I've read this from other people as well. There was a gentleman that I read a review from on Crutchfield's website. He bought one of these as well. His first one had a bad motor. Crutchfield advised him to get in touch with MoFi Electronics, and he had no luck whatsoever dealing with them. So luckily Crutchfield got another unit in, and they exchanged it for him. That one, he had a queuing problem, and he said that he massaged the queuing. I don't know what he means by that. Maybe up and down, up and down, up and down until it started working. I tried that myself on mine, but it didn't correct anything. And he, again, said MoFi Electronics, their customer service was abysmal. I read a professional tester's review of this unit, and he said his unit arrived with a bone-dry platter bearing as well. And he was advised to use white lithium grease. I did not do that. I used the one that MoFi supplied me. And it did indeed work. It has a nice free-flowing platter now, but it was horrible to get any kind of communication going with them. And if it weren't for my advisor at Audio Advice, I would not have gotten anything done. So what scares me is, what are you going to do when you need warranty work on one of these units, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, say the motor goes bad or something? How do you get in touch with them? How do you get them to communicate with you to even do anything to help you? They just ignore the customer. They're terrible. I would not recommend, based on my dealings with MoFi, I would not recommend them at all to buy a product from. I mean, if they keep this up, will they even be in business 10 years from now? Probably not. You don't treat customers like that. We don't come back if you treat us like that. I would really like to get this deck replaced with an exact one that works properly. My whole idea here was to get a deck with an AC synchronous motor. I wanted to abandon the direct drive stuff, with that has all the capacitors that are going to fail years down in the road, and ICs that can go bad. These are simple. They probably have a spark capacitor on them to keep it from popping when you turn it off and on, maybe a relay for the motor, and that's it. That's something I can fix myself if something goes wrong 10 years from now. But a direct drive with the complicated circuitry and ICs and everything, if they go bad, are you going to be able to find those components years down the road? Maybe not. This one you probably could, but based on my dealings with MoFi, you're not going to be able to get parts because you can't deal with them. They don't answer you. They don't communicate you. They simply don't care about the customer. But I didn't want to rant. I just wanted to demonstrate the turntable and its differences compared to the other ones around here that I have. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Yes, again, this is the MoFi Fender X Precision Deck. Absolutely gorgeous. They did a beautiful job on the wood. Of course, Fender did that part. And then the MoFi Electronics factory put the electronics into this, the platter and so forth, the tone arm and the motor. Gave me a defective set of audio cables, a defective belt, a bone dry platter. So do they even quality check this stuff before it goes out the door? I don't think so. I think they just slap them in a box and you're stuck. Very abysmal quality control. I'd be ashamed if it were my company. I really would. But enough said. I just wanted to show you the differences there between the direct drives, the belt drives, the older Thorens, the older techniques. And, those things are ancient. Those are from the 70s. The Thorens is from the 90s. I believe the 1300 Mark II techniques was from 1978. This SL1100A over here, I think they started making these in 1971 or 72. like I said, I received this as a Christmas gift from my parents in 1975. I'm 63 years old now, so you know this thing has been around for a while, and it still works like a champ. You know, it has the nice stroboscopic indicator over here that you can adjust speed and so forth, and it holds very steady after all these years. Original caps and everything. Beautiful wooden base. I'm using an Audio-Technica AT740 microline cartridge. That sounds amazing. I put that up against this MoFi cartridge over here. I definitely put that up against this. So you can barely tell the difference. So again, this was a review on the Fender Turntable. I am totally disappointed with it. Would not recommend it to anybody, and I would not recommend MoFi Electronics to anybody. I hope you found this helpful. If you want to make fun of my live review here with no editing or whatsoever, I don't have that capability. I'm not a videographer. All I have is a cell phone. Please feel free to leave comments. I'd love to hear them. Criticisms, please go for it, or you know, praises if you found something that you like, leave those too. I'll keep them coming. This channel should grow over the year with different turntables. We'll show all the features and so forth. This one was a little different, the first video. I am not going to do them all like this. We'll probably focus on one turntable, but I just wanted to compare this Fender, its performance, to other turntables, and how can they call it a precision deck? You know, when an older Thorens from 1991 beats this in the wow and flutter department and in the speed stability. So there you have it. I'll be quiet now. End of video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.